Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I mutter, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrote its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sorrow to borrow from my book's secrece of sorrow, sorrow for my lost Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken said uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terror never felt before, so that now to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance to my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is, I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you." Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was but the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," I said, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what threaten is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, and with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven with the saintly days of yore. Not the least obscene made he, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched above a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiled my sad face fancy into smiling, but the grave and sturve decorum of the contents it wore. "Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, though," I said, "art hence no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven wandering above the night shore. Tell me what the lordly name is on the night Platonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above this chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, nothing further than he uttered, not a feather that he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before, on the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before." But the bird said, "Nevermore." Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "that it utters is its only stock and store. caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hopes that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a curious seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy into fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, then this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt and ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaging and guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fury eyes now burdened into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight glowed o'er. But those velvet, violet lining, with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall pass, oh nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphims whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thou God hath lent thee, by thy angels he have sent thee, respite, respite in Nephi, from thy memory of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still if bird or devil. Whether tempest sent, or whether tempest tossed I here, ashore, dissolute yet all undent, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by the heavens that bent above us, by the gods we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp of saintly maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. But that word, our sign in parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest of the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes having all the seemings of a devil's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that soul that lies floating on the door shall be lifted, nevermore.